Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Volco Auto Supply in Lawrenceburg has a legacy of being a family-owned and operated company. Since 1927, our business has grown and evolved into today's one-stop source for all your automotive supplies. But in that time, one thing has stayed the same, and that's our commitment to our customers and their needs. At Volco Auto Supply, you'll find everything for your car, truck, or even fleet of vehicles, but with good old-fashioned customer service the way it needs to be. That's Volco Auto Supply, 416 Buffalo Road in Lawrenceburg. Visit volcoauto.com.
For over 50 years, Southern Tennessee Regional Health System Lawrenceburg has been a cornerstone of care in Lawrence County. From cardiology to orthopedics, general surgery, primary care, and women's health, we offer compassionate expert care close to home. Our ER is now stronger than ever with more providers, chest pain accreditation, and our newest Joint Commission stroke accreditation because every second matters. Generations have trusted us for compassionate care and medical excellence. Faster, trusted, accredited emergency care with hometown heart.
Arts, crafts, stationery, journals, books, educational toys, wrapping paper, devotionals, greeting cards, and much more can all be found at Paper and Thread in downtown Lawrenceburg. Shop local to find the perfect gift or have a custom gift basket made for just the right occasion. Paper and Thread has a party room now available for birthdays, classes, and so much more. We could go on and on about all the neat things you'll find at Paper and Thread, but you just need to hop in your car and head down there. 106 North Military Avenue in Lawrenceburg is where you'll find them and discover what makes Paper and Thread awesome. That's Paper and Thread in downtown Lawrenceburg, 106 North Military Avenue, just north of the square.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody in here to the X Sports Network for this Wednesday edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. I'm your host, Michael Marks, and on today's show we've got a lot for you. We have at least on the baseball side of things for local sports, we do have district tournament seeding. On the softball side, still working to clear some things out over there, but kind of a pretty good idea of some seedings. We have new performances from both of our former Mustangs in the major leagues. And then in college sports, we have a lot to get to today because the transfer portal closed on Tuesday. The NBA draft process, I believe, your last name to enter your name is Friday. We've got college baseball to get into, so we will jump right into it with our local high school sports. We'll start with the action we have seen throughout this week. We will start in the south part of the county with the Loretto Mustangs, who so far only one game this week. It is technically their bye week in terms of district tournament seeding, or in terms of district play. So they got to venture out of district play and got to welcome a familiar face to Loretto on Monday night as they welcomed the Muscle Shoals Trojans. So Monday night was a big night for Loretto. You got to have former head coach Gary Lamb bring his new squad in Muscle Shoals up. Obviously, it's nice to have the guy that the field is named after be able to come visit, even if it is as the visiting coach. And then also on Monday night, the Loretto Mustangs dedicated their home dugout to former assistant coach Toby Dunn, who passed away back in the fall, meant a lot to Loretto across, not only baseball. Obviously was an assistant baseball coach, but was beloved by the students, his coworkers. So it was really, and was a coach or an assistant coach on both of the Mustang State Championships teams. So it was great to be able to dedicate him in that home dugout for him this season. But the Mustangs, hey, the offense came out and it was there early and often. A 2-run first inning. He had a 2-run double from Kason Springer. The offense really exploded in the third inning. You had a 3-run home run from Mason Tidwell. Braden Bennett hit his first solo shot of the year. That came in the fourth inning. And the pitching was dominant. Kason Springer goes 7 innings, 1 hit, only 1 run. It was unearned. And 14 strikeouts to no walks. And then you go to Jack Vandegrift, who closed things out of the bullpen. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Was a bit of a shaky inning, but nonetheless, we're able to sit down a very good Muscle Shoals team. So the Mustangs improved to 13-8 overall on the season, 6-2 inside of district play. Have a bit of a loaded rest of the week. So Thursday, they'll face Battle Creek. Now, obviously, the game that happened last Thursday at Battle Creek did not finish. Currently a 2-1 Battle Creek lead in the top of the 4th inning. Not exactly sure where they'll, but they are going to pick that game up on Thursday at Loretto and try to continue that one so we can have like a game and a half sort of thing on Thursday night at Loretto. I believe that first game is going to start at 4:30, if not 5, but we will have both games covered here on the X Sports Network. And then their last game of the season on the road at Scotts Hill to close things out for the regular season on Friday. So we will look right across the pond here to the Lawrence County Wildcats, 22-7 overall on the season, 7-1 in district play. A clean sweep over Marshall County, a 10-0 win last night where everything went about as well as it could have for the Wildcats. Braden Morrison has an outstanding start, goes 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Waller gives you a good inning out of the bullpen, as does Landon Bracey, obviously trying to build some of those guys up. Hey, you only allow 2 hits, you only allow 2 extra base runners off walks, and the offense, only 8 hits. But we're able to draw 5 walks. Just a really good job. Didn't strike out. Only struck out 3 times on the entire night. Obviously, a 10-0 run rule in 5 innings. A big 6 spot in that 4th inning. But the guys that needed to contribute for Lawrence County did. Brayson Rose went 2 for 3. And then even if you look further back down on the lineup, you have Jasper Kilburn go 2 for 2, score 2 runs. Was able to walk as well. Jack Story, 2 for 2. He had 4 RBIs on the night. So that Lawrence County offense really got things going, and they finish out district play in first place at 7-1. Regular season finale will be tomorrow at Lincoln County. But man, what an incredible season it has been for the Wildcats. The pitching's been good. The hitting's been even better. Because you go back to Monday night, it was a 4-1 win for Lawrence County. So the offense not as dominant, but Logan Mays, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 10 strikeouts to 3 walks. It seems that they're getting those guys, those arms back to where they need to be. And you find that third starter. The postseason is coming up, so obviously it's going to be exciting to see how far all 3 of the local teams make it. And we will jump to that last local team, the Summertown Eagles, who finished up their district play with an 8-5 win over Forest on Monday night, a 10-7 win over Forest last night. That game over my right shoulder right here. And we'll look at Monday night's game first. But man, it was great for Summertown. Got a little shaky, gave up a 4 spot in that first inning. Did Jackson Bennett, was able to calm things down and went 6 innings, only giving up 1 more run the entire night. No runs were earned. 9 strikeouts, 2 walks for Bennett. And the offense, you look, everybody. Ryder Blackwood with a hit. Aiden Perez had 2 hits. Kason Blackwood had 3 hits, 2 RBIs to go along with that. John Colby Stanley had a hit. Cecil Williams had a 3 RBI hit. Jackson Bennett got a hit, a long hit at that, a home run. Graham Howell with a hit. And then Foster Paley was able to reach off 2 walks. So the offense was looking good on Monday night, and they carried that over into Tuesday just as well, a 10-7 win. And it was a big first inning for Forest as well, put up a 5 spot in the first inning. But Brady Keaton able to ride the storm, goes 5 innings after that, only giving up 2 more runs, 6 strikeouts to 1 walk. And again, the offense was plentiful. Ryder Blackwood went 2 for 5, 2 RBIs. Aiden Perez, a bit of a slow night, but Kason Blackwood goes 2 for 4, drawing a walk. John Colby Stanley, 2 for 3. Cecil Williams, 2 for 4. He had 4 RBIs again last night. Graham Howell goes 2 for 4. Elijah Huckabee, 1 for 4. 2 for 3 from Brady Keaton, and then 2 for 4 from Foster Paley. The offense, again, it was there, and it was plentiful as Summertown wraps up district play, so we will look at the District 9 standings. As of now, Loretto Mustangs in first place, 13-8 overall on the season, 6-2 in district play. Summertown, the Eagles, 17-9 overall in second place with a 6-2 overall record. The Cascade Champions in third with a 17-7 overall record, 5-3 in district play. And then in fourth place with a 15-11 overall record, 3-5 in district play is the Forest Rockets. And the Community Vikings there at the bottom at 0-8 in district play, 4-20 overall on the season. So if this is the final standings, and again, I'm not sure exactly how the tiebreakers and whatnot work out, it will be, now the higher seed is hosting in this district tournament, so Summertown and Loretto will both be hosting, and again, if things work out the way that I believe they are here in front of me, Loretto will host the winner of Forest and Community. Summertown will host Cascade. But, man, it should be a fun district tournament coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And we'll get brackets out online as soon as we have those. Now, for the other side, we actually do have a bracket with the Lawrence County Wildcats in District 12 AAA, as I look to pull up that bracket real quick. So, the top seed in the host, Lawrence County Wildcats, will face the winner of Marshall County and Giles County. That game will be played on April 29th, which will be next Wednesday. That's the play-in game. Thursday and Friday, you will have the first round games. Thursday you will have the first round games. Friday, the second round games. And so it'll be Franklin County against Tullahoma. Lawrence County will face the winner of that Marshall County-Giles County series. And then the two winners will meet up. The winners of Game 2 and Game 3 will meet up for Game 5. That one will be May the 2nd at 2 o'clock. If you win that game, I believe it puts you in pretty solid placement for the district championship game. And again, it is a double elimination bracket, so again, the losers will have to find out of that. All of that, other than that first game between Marshall and Giles County being at Sam Davis Park, the rest of it here at Tom Cruise Field. And again, we will get some more of the local, the District 9 bracket out as soon as we know the finals, the locations, everything like that. But we will have that up here pretty soon. In the coming days, if it's not at some point today. On the softball side of things, the Loretto Lady Mustangs suffered a tough loss to Cascade last night, 3-0. Taking a look there for the Lady Mustangs. It was a good game pitching-wise. You got an excellent start, but the offense was just not able to get going. No runs off 4 hits, 1 error. You got 2 hits from Mallory Corbin. But again, really not much able to get going on the offensive side. But you look at the Lady Champions, only were able to get 3 runs off 5 hits. Again, these two teams do match up at Cascade a week from yesterday for the regular season finale, so it should be a good one there. The Lady Mustangs will close out the week tomorrow at Summertown, and then we'll have to go to Community on next Monday, and to Cascade next Tuesday. 2 straight rough days of travel for the Lady Mustangs. We will look at the Lawrence County Lady Cats, who are off to an amazing this last couple of weeks of the season. 18-11 and 1 overall record, a 14-2 win over the Lady Mustangs on senior night on Monday. They will close out the week on Thursday as they travel to Zion Christian. That game will be at 5 o'clock. We should have it here on the X Sports Network. And for the last local softball team, the Summertown Lady Eagles have had an outstanding season, 23-6 overall, but did lose to Community last night, once more 6-3. The offense did get going, but as long as Prince is on the mound for Community, good luck. I mean, they were able to get 3 runs off of her on 6 hits, and that felt like monumental. But that Community offense stays hot. Summertown got those 3 runs in the top of the 6th. were actually able to take the lead 3-2, but a 4-run bottom of the sixth for Community really shut down any opportunities of that. And you look at the top of the order with Haskins going 3 for 3, Farrell going 3 for 3, and then you look a little bit further down the stretch. You got someone, Daniel, the shortstop, batting fifth, went 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. So a big opportunity there, and I believe it was that came off a grand slam. But an impressive win for the Vikings as we take a look over. And again, Summertown will close out the week against Loretto on Thursday. So we'll look at the District 9 standings as they appear right now. In first place at 18-7 overall, 5-0 in district play is the Community Vikings. Not far behind them at 23-6 overall, 5-2 in district play, the Summertown Lady Eagles. In third place at 13-13 overall, 3-4 in district play is the Forest Lady Rockets. Just behind them, 5-9 on the season, 2-4 overall in district play is the Cascade Lady Champions. And then in fifth place at 0-5 in the district is the Lady Mustangs. So we'll turn things over to District 12 AAA and look at the Lawrence County Lady Cats, who, as well as the baseball team, went 7-1 and were able to get a district champion or a regular season district championship, and we'll get to host all of their stuff here at home. 18-11 on the year. In second place at 9-7 at 5-3 in district play is Marshall County. In third, Franklin County with a 17-18 overall record, 3-4 in district play. In fourth place, Giles County at 11-10 overall with a 3-5 district record, and then Tullahoma 11-12 with a 1-6 district record. They finish up district play. If not on Thursday, we'll finish up early next week as things go for that. So we'll turn things over to our Major League update, where we keep up to date with all of our local athletes in Major League Baseball. The two right now, both former Mustangs, Blade Tidwell, Ryan Weathers, have both had outings since we last met. Tidwell pitched, I believe that was, if I can get the date right, it was last Wednesday it was last Friday against the Nationals. Went in one inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Lowered his ERA to a 2.25 in that mark, and actually was the last pitcher out of the bullpen. If the game was a little closer, could have been able to get in line for a save. As the Giants have started to figure things out, have won 4 of their last 5. Actually got a win last night against the Dodgers. Game 2 will be coming up tonight. Tidwell, again, has not pitched since last Friday, so I would assume he's available whenever that would be. Could be tonight against the Dodgers, but they do have a series with the Marlins coming up later this week. So Tidwell's season totals so far: 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 6 strikeouts to 1 walk, with a 2.25 ERA. Still recordless, no wins, no losses for the San Francisco Giants relief pitcher. Having a great season. I mean, you look, other than that one swing from Gunnar Henderson, that's really his one mistake. And if you're going to give up a good swing to Gunnar Henderson, there's going to be a lot of guys that do that this year. Just an outstanding ball player. So we stay in the majors with the New York Yankees starting pitcher Ryan Weathers. Had a great start in his last start, as we look to pull that up, was on Sunday as the Yankees were at home taking on Kansas City, and Weathers had maybe his best start of the year. Goes 7 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts to 1 walk. Is able to pick up the win. Takes him to 1-2 on the season with a 3.18 ERA. An outstanding start against a Kansas City lineup that I'm not going to say it struggled to start the year. Really, if your name's not Bobby Witt or Vinny Pascantino, it's been rough going for you. Only nobody that's an everyday player for them is batting over 300 at this point in the season. Been a rough going for them, and it was in that game. Out of the 5 hits they compiled, 2 were from Bobby Witt, and again, it's looking for a little more offense aside from him. But a great start for Weathers on the season. 28 1/3 innings, 27 hits, 10 runs, all earned, 8 walks to 36 strikeouts. It's a pretty good ratio. It's just under. I would say it's, 4.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. Definitely nothing to slouch about right there. With a 1-2 record with a 3.18 ERA. Ryan is next slotted to start Saturday on April 25th against the Houston Astros, 6:10 p.m. Central Time for the first pitch there. And that's a dangerous lineup in the Astros. It hasn't been maybe their greatest year up to this point. And actually on a bit of a losing skid right now. Lost 5 of their last 6. Are currently playing right now against the Guardians. So we'll turn things over to College Sports, where we have a lot to get into. The transfer portal closed on midnight last night, or 11:59. And I believe the NBA draft, if you'd like to enter the draft process, as a lot of the guys are saying, I believe that closes on Friday at midnight. So we will jump in and take a look at how crazy some of the things are going, because I'm a big proponent of the craziest days of the transfer portal are those the last ones before it closes and those first couple of guys that commit shortly after. So we will go all the way back to, we'll say, Monday, just to kind of keep up with everything, make sure everybody knows what's going on. So the first big, I would say big move is North Carolina guard Seth Trimble has entered the NCAA transfer portal with a do not contact tag. He's one of those guys that currently has no eligibility remaining, but obviously the NCAA is trying very hard to get that 5 years to play 5 rule pushed, which would give a pretty good amount of guys right now that are waiting in the transfer portal some extra eligibility. Trimble being one of those, and there's some guys for Tennessee that can possibly do that as well. Thomas Dowd, a highly coveted transfer forward out of Troy, has committed to Auburn, so not a very far move for Mr. Dowd, and that's an excellent player picked up for Stephen Pearl in his squad, no longer Bruce. And then shortly after, Auburn forward Sebastian Williams-Adams planned to hit the NCAA transfer portal, as did former Memphis forward Aaron Bradshaw. Georgia transfer guard Jordan Ross committed to Cal. And then shortly after that, St. Louis transfer Brady Dunlap signed with Georgia. He had been at St. John's before spending the past couple of seasons with St. Louis and the Billikens. Another interesting one is Minnesota forward Cade Tyson has re-entered the NCAA transfer portal. Had a very interesting college career, did Cade Tyson, and actually started it here in the Mid-State at Belmont. If you look here, spent 2 years at Belmont. His freshman year averaged 13 points, around 5 rebounds. His second year at Belmont was averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds a game, and was a highly coveted transfer going into the 2024-25 season. Transfers to UNC, where he played a whopping, do we have a minutes average? About 8 minutes a game. So he goes from 32 minutes a game and taking 12 to 15 shots a game, getting to the line 3 or 4 times to maybe getting up a shot in a game, and average 2 points, 1 rebound, and then the Tar Heel legacy decided to hit the portal again for his senior year. Went to Minnesota, who didn't have the greatest year of all time. There's they made the CBC quarterfinals and lost to Baylor, but in 32 games, Tyson started all 32 of them. And Minnesota was a weird team that didn't really use much of their bench, so he played about 36 minutes a game, but averaged 20 points, close to 20 points, 6 rebounds a night. Another one of those guys that burned up all 4 years of eligibility, but if that 5 years to play 5, he will be able to come back. Not sure if he's looking at Minnesota, where he's looking elsewhere, but could be an interesting one of those guys out of the one of those guys that could benefit from that rule. Kentucky transfer forward Mo Diabate is committed to LSU, Joe Tipton from On3 reports. And finally, Will Wade has a basketball player with him at LSU. And, man, Mo Diabate really loves the SEC. Started at Bama, a couple years there, went to Kentucky, got a big bag there. And now taking his talents to Baton Rouge, where not sure if he's looking to be the number one guy on that roster, but he's definitely proved himself as a pretty crucial piece for any roster. Was a huge piece defensively for Kentucky and Alabama over the past couple of years. Maybe he can expand his offensive game under Will Wade. Lila Vicious, the transfer guard from TCU, has committed to Clemson as an extremely talented shooter. Really, really good pickup for Brad Brownell and his team over there at Clemson. Syracuse transfer forward Donnie Freeman has committed to St. John's, so just moving right down the road from Syracuse to St. John's. A lot of teams trying to get in the mix for Freeman late. I know Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, to name a few, but it seems like Freeman wants to stay up there in that New England area, and why not? You go to a St. John's team where you're going to be one of the higher options coming in next year. The San Jose State transfer guard Colby Garland has committed to Georgia Tech. Garland averaged 20.3 points per game last season, so that's a very talented scorer heading to the Yellow Jackets. Malik Mack, the Georgetown transfer, is staying in the Big East and will be heading over to Providence. A really good pickup right there. Sebastian William Adams didn't take very long to make his decision, as last night he announced that he was committing to Vanderbilt from Auburn, so a huge pickup for Mark Byington and his staff, and it may not be as highly ranked, but Vanderbilt's put together quietly a very good transfer portal class. FAU transfer Maxim Logue has committed to North Carolina as Michael Malone starts to get some pieces for his new team. The big one that was announced yesterday, Wisconsin transfer guard John Blackwell is committed to Duke. Blackwell was an absolute monster at Wisconsin last year, 19 points, 5 boards. He's going to be a huge piece for that Duke team next year as they look to kind of move on. I'm not exactly sure, and we'll look at it in a little bit, what the rest of the Duke transfer class, but you go from losing a guy like Cooper Flagg, and then you lose a guy like this past year with Cam Boozer, and you even go back before Cooper Flagg and the year we had Paolo Banchero, and before that when you had Zion and RJ Barrett and all those guys. How is Duke going to rebuild? Typically not getting a big guy out of the portal, but that's the big guy in the portal right now. St. Mary's power forward Paulius Marasakis has transferred to Arizona State. A team that has quietly put together a pretty good transfer portal class as well. One of the late entrants last night into the transfer portal, Arkansas big man Malik Ewan. 6'10 senior, averaged 10.6 boards, 1 block. Another one of those guys waiting for an additional year of eligibility. Could be an interesting pickup, though. And one of the more, I'd say, actually a really big pickup as Louisville continues to stay on a hot streak, as Iowa transfer forward Alvaro Folgueras is committed to Louisville. Remember, Folgueras was a big piece for Iowa in that tournament run. And listen, that's been the big thing for Louisville the past couple of years. They've done a great job putting together good rosters. Now the last, it may have just been 2 years, but I'll say 3 years, have put together some pretty good rosters. And they have a great head coach in Pat Kelsey. I mean, we remember all the teams he had at Charleston before making the move to Louisville. So he wants a guy with some tournament experience. You look at the guys he's picked up in the portal. Jackson Shellstat, maybe not the most NCAA tournament experience. I actually believe that he was on that Oregon team that made a run his freshman year, I believe it was. Just want to make sure I'm getting that right. It may have been the year after, but you can kind of see a theme. So we'll look at Oregon this year. Made the second round. That was 24-10. A very good team that hit a stretch. Before they ran into that blazing hot Creighton team in the second round. So you've got a guy like Jackson Shellstat, who has tournament experience. You got a guy like Alvaro Folgueras, has really good tournament experience. And then you go with a guy like Flory Badunga, who has spent a couple of years at Kansas, getting good tournament experience. So it seems like Pat Kelsey is slated to make a run next year. Another big late entry was Baylor forward Tunde Yusufu, averaged 18.6 boards last season. He's going to be one of those high value targets that everybody in the country is going to be going for. Florida State guard Lejeune Jones has entered the NCAA transfer portal. Another guy waiting for an additional year of eligibility, but averaged 13 points and 6 boards last year. Michigan State guard Divine Uchukwu has entered the NCAA transfer portal. As has Auburn center Emeka Oporum. These are some guys that weren't huge pieces really for either of those squads last year, but maybe making a move to maybe down a level a bit just to get some opportunities. Here in the past couple of hours, Vanderbilt transfer guard George Kimball III has transferred to Auburn. Another great pickup for Stephen Pearl. Isaac Seliskar has transferred in from Yale. Maybe the reason that Yusufu is looking elsewhere for the Bears. Another great pickup for Dana Altman and his squad is he went after Alabama transfer forward Taylor Bowen. Had a great year for the Tide last season and could help get Dana Altman's Oregon squads back where they need to be. And within the last hour, Missouri transfer guard T.O. Barrett has committed to Vanderbilt. Barrett had a couple of really good games last season. Consistency is going to be the thing he is looking for. And here in the last 60 seconds, Texas Tech transfer forward Lawan Watts has transferred to Washington. He's been all over the state now in the state of Washington. Started at Eastern Washington, transferred to Washington State, and then last season made the move to Texas Tech, and is now going back home to play for the Huskies. An impressive pickup right there. Watts was one of those big pieces for Texas Tech last year. Unfortunately, JT Toppin getting hurt really hurt their chances to make a big run in the tournament, but it would have been an even shorter stay without Watts. So let's take a trip on over to 247sports.com where we can take a look at these transfer portal rankings. If we've had any big commits, this, that, and the other. And other than John Blackwell at Duke, that's really the only big top guard that's made a move since we last talked. Obviously, you got some guys like Isaiah Johnson going to Texas, Jackson Shellstack going from Oregon to Louisville, Terrence Hill from VCU to Tennessee, Caden Lewis from Villanova to Miami, Neoclis Abdallas from Virginia Tech to North Carolina, Marcus Burton, a former five-star, going from staying in state but moving down from Notre Dame to Indiana. But the forward position is still one that is very up in the air. Question marks on all top three of the guys. Milan Momcilovic, one of those guys in the NCAA transfer portal kind of situation right now, so to speak. But a five-star, as is Alan Graves from Santa Clara. May not have the most glamorous numbers, but he's a guy, again, awaiting some NFL draft possibilities. If any of the three, and I'll throw Juke Harrison there from Wake Forest, if any of the three are to go to the NBA draft, I would say it's Graves. He had an outstanding year for Santa Clara. Honestly, I may throw Momcilovic in there too. I don't think Juke Harris does. He's a guy that can really make some money this season, this offseason, and more than he would be getting because he's slated as a late first-round pick. So it should be a fun one there. And this one actually just coming in the last hour. Tennessee and NC State men's basketball teams will meet next season in a neutral site game in Nashville. So Justin Gainey will be facing against his old squad and Rick Barnes. Should be really fun. Obviously, I think Juke Harris is awaiting the decision of Nate Ament. Again, Pete Nakos said, I can confidently say, and this was about a week ago, that he could confidently say that if Nate is not a lottery pick, that Tennessee is in extremely good position to get him back next year. Because, I hate to say it, but dollar signs do a lot of talking, and if you fall out of that top 14, you're somewhere in the $2.5 to $3 million range with projected draft slot value. And honestly, I think you could get more in college if you're a player with the talent level of. It's kind of interesting, and I think Juke Harris is in that same realm that can he get $2.5 or $3 million for a school, as opposed to taking the maybe 1.8 to 2.5 million you could get being a late first round pick, and that's still kind of pushing it. He's on some boards, off others. But then you see some guys below those three. David Punch to Texas is a huge pickup. Maroscus, like I just mentioned with St. Mary's, going to Arizona State. Aiden Sherrill from Alabama to Indiana. J.P. Estrella from Tennessee to Michigan. A lot of big moves. But, again, as you see with the forward position, the center position's kind of in the same boat. Flory Badunga's been at Louisville for a minute now, as has Sumto Cyril with Miami. But Masamba Diop, the five-star transfer big man from Arizona State, and Mustafa Taim, the transfer big man out of Cincinnati, both still available. Both over 7 feet tall, both in the 250-pound range. probably both going to be going to a school looking to contend. You can see that with a lot of these teams. Najee Hines moving from Seton Hall to UConn. That's a guy that wants to win. Same thing with maybe not the case with Badunga. He's getting a huge payout, but Somto Surreal. As much as I'm an SEC guy, but Georgia is not where you go if you want to win in basketball. I mean, Anthony Edwards had one of the best freshman seasons in college basketball that year, and I'm pretty sure Georgia was awful that year, if I am correct. That was the 2020-2021 season with the COVID year. I don't believe they made it very far. I don't even think they had a winning record that year. Went 14-12, so we're able to get it there at the end of the year. But that was a strange season. I kind of don't really count that one a whole lot. But so as we venture back to the transfer portal, there we go. Really not really sure where Mustafa or Masamba are looking at. Obviously, I would like to see Tennessee try to get in the race for one of those. You're losing a guy like Okpara, who could be coming back if that 5 years to play 5 thing goes. So looking at some of the top classes, Louisville, Texas, Indiana, Tennessee, and Providence round out the top 5. But Duke picking up the big commitment from John Blackwell. They've jumped inside the top 10 at number 9. Haven't had any major moves here in the last couple of hours. So I would assume that it's mostly died down for the day. But you're going to start getting some serious answers with some guys here in the next couple of hours. I'd say in the next 48, you're going to know. You're going to know whether or not Nate Ament's coming back to Tennessee, or if Duke Harris is going to Tennessee or Michigan or North Carolina. This is in the last 45 minutes. Nate Ament is split on whether to declare for the 2026 NBA draft, according to Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports. Quote, his agency, Lift Sports Management, is split on the decision because they believe that Ament could be potentially the number 1 pick in 2027. And we'll just look at the comparison of money, because obviously I know that's I hate that is the conversation, but that is kind of a big thing. So looking at the rookie payment, you could say, now this is according to RealGM.com, so I'm not sure how true this is, but it looks like the first year salary for a first overall pick is somewhere in the $12 million range. And again, this year, if you're falling outside of the top 14, you're at that $3.5 million range. That's a big difference, and that number jumped from about 10.5 last year to 11.5 this year. Who's to say that doesn't jump to 13 or 14 next year? You got some big decisions to make, and looking down near the back end of the first round, you're looking at $2.5 million. Again, a number that could, say Duke Harris makes the jump and he's a top 20 pick next year. You could be looking at $3.5 million, which isn't a huge upgrade, but the guys that get drafted higher tend to do a lot better than the guys that don't get drafted very high. You hear stories almost every year of a 5th-round pick having a great year. I mean, look at Brock Purdy in the NFL for the 49ers. Other than the occasional Nikola Jokic or maybe a Ben Wallace argument, there's not a whole lot of guys in the NBA that aren't drafted high that do well. Now, again, there's obviously you get drafted high and you bust, but still, honestly, my opinion, I think Ament should go. I mean, I don't know what he could. Obviously, Tennessee fans would like to get both. I don't think that's realistic. It could be, but I don't see that one as too realistic an option. I mean, if you got the money, and it seems like the way I view this transfer portal for Tennessee, because they've been way more aggressive than they have in any transfer portals, except maybe 2 years ago with the Chaz Lanier, Igor Milicic, that crew. I haven't seen them be this aggressive in the portal, and that makes me think that this is hey, this is probably going to be my last year. Give me everything I want, and I'll put together the best team I can, and let's try to go win a national championship. Obviously, it's hard to do that in this era, just put a team together in 1 year, but Look at Michigan. Elliott Cadeau came from North Carolina. Axel Lindeborg, UAB. Ademara at UCLA, and Morez Johnson from Illinois. That's 4 year starting five. So it's proof that you can build a really good team in the portal if you just find the pieces and everybody buys in. And people are talking about that Michigan team as one of the 5 or 6 best national championship teams ever, and analytics would back them up. So let's take a venture over to the world of college baseball. Obviously, another tough weekend for Tennessee, as it has been almost every weekend this year. But it was a tough weekend for every road team not named Oklahoma and Texas. Auburn goes on the road and gets a 2-1 series win over Florida. Georgia goes to Arkansas, gets a series win. Vandy goes to Kentucky. Ole Miss to Knoxville to beat Tennessee. And then you had a couple of sweeps. Mississippi State sweeping South Carolina on the road. Texas A&M sweeping LSU on the road. But Missouri gets swept on the road by Oklahoma. And Texas a big series win over Alabama. But we'll take a look at the SEC standings. I believe those are around here somewhere. Okay, so in first place you got Georgia at 13-5. Should be a tie for first with Texas A&M. Texas A&M 12-5. Texas 11-6. Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss all at 10-8 in the tie for fourth. Alabama, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt all at 500. Kentucky and Tennessee at 8-10, and then LSU at 6-12. South Carolina at 5-13, and Missouri at 3-15. If you told me this year that at the just over the halfway point that Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Tennessee, and LSU would all be 500 or under in conference play, I would say you are crazy. But the teams that needed to improve, the teams that you thought were going to be good, Georgia made an incredible improvement over last year, the past couple of years, where their pitching has really been subpar. It's picked it up this year. Texas A&M, man, year number 2 for Michael Early has been awesome. You expect Texas to be where they are. They have one of the best coaches in the country. They have all the money in the world. They're going to be good. Auburn, Butch Thompson, again, another great year. I've been really impressed with Florida, and I am a big Florida hater when it comes to baseball, and that's just me personally. But man, Kevin O'Sullivan has done a great job this year. You lose one of your top assistant to Tennessee, and you have a better record than them. Mississippi State 10-8, bad couple of weeks, obviously with that getting swept at home by Tennessee, but getting the sweep against Missouri was huge for them. 10-8 in conference play. You know what Brian O'Connor was going to bring from Virginia. And he's brought that, and they've been a fun team. Ole Miss at 10-8 as well. Mike Bianco, as long as he's there, they're going to be consistently pretty good. And Oklahoma, man, if they really come out of nowhere this year, before the season, yeah, they were probably picked in the 12 to 15 range, probably were, and maybe a little higher. But you didn't know what you were going to get from Oklahoma this year. You have the Witherspoons last year that had such a great year, but you weren't bringing them in this year. Well, you got off to such a hard start. You looked like one of the best teams in the SEC, and they've done a really good job steadying the ship there. Bama, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, all at that 500 range at 9-9. They've been good this year. I can say Alabama has been good this year. Arkansas and Vanderbilt do feel like they are kind of fading a little bit, but Vandy picking up a big conference series win over the weekend, where it seems like those are very few and far between on some days, obviously. And then, Tennessee and Kentucky both at 8-10 in conference play. It's been tough years, tough weekends. But you look at so many of Tennessee's games late. And this weekend does not matter. They lost all those games. But that Tennessee, the Saturday game against Ole Miss was 0-0 going into the 7th. And you give up 8 runs. But the Georgia game, the one where the home run got robbed, if that just has an extra gust of wind. Vandy walked you off all 3 nights. Those were all very winnable games. LSU, how do you lose 16-6 in extra innings? How do you give up a 10 spot in extra innings? You win one of those games, if not both, because you had the lead in game 1 going down to the wire as well. And then Missouri, how do you lose Friday night to Missouri? They have 3 conference wins, and they dominated you. There are several games where if it's the Tennessee of old, they win. But Tennessee of new this year is yet to figure that out, because they got a bunch of guys that haven't played much. And the guys that have played much haven't been expected to be leaders until this year. But again, it's college baseball. It's super fun. Pull up some of the big matchups coming up this weekend, because, I mean, you head down the stretch, it's always going to be great. On Thursday, we've got a couple of top 25 matchups, and these are all rivalry games. You got Carolina at Duke. Obviously, Duke having a bit of a rough year, but North Carolina, number 2 in the country. I mean, you're 34-7 in baseball. 34-7-1, but you've played 40 games and you lost 7 of them. That's incredible. Tennessee coming to town to take on Alabama coming to town to take on Tennessee. That game will be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, as is Arkansas at Missouri. Then we look at Friday, where we can really get the full slate of games. You have Virginia on the road at Pitt, Texas State on the road at Coastal Carolina, West Virginia going on the road to take on Cincinnati. Boston College at Notre Dame, number 20 Nebraska going to Illinois. And boy, I think it was a kid from Oregon hit like a 495-foot bomb at Illinois last weekend. So I don't know if how crazy the elevation is in Champaign, but that ball really flew. LSU going on the road to take Mississippi State. Number 7 Texas A&M and number 21 Florida doing battle in Gainesville. You have Oklahoma at Auburn, Texas at Vanderbilt, Kansas State at Kansas, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, Georgia and Ole Miss should be a good one. Hawaii and Oregon State should be a fun one as well. I think Hawaii probably has pushed themselves out of regional hosting at this point at the end of the season, but still got a lot of postseason to fight for. UCLA will take on Sacramento State. 37-3. Talk about incredible records. And then Purdue's got to make the trip out to LA to take on USC in a conference game, as does Penn State have to go out to take on Oregon. Gotta love the Big Ten and their crazy schedules and their crazy conferences. It is a load of fun. Let's see if we can get any predictions for maybe some regionals up to this point. Not sure. Right now, the last 4 in are Baylor, Texas State, East Carolina, and NC State. Let's see if I can find like a full regional predictions for this year. Up to this point in the year, I feel like it's kind of hard to find those. But here is the D1 baseball field of 64. So on the bubble, last 4 in: Purdue, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, NC State. First 4 out are Michigan, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Texas State, and Arkansas. The 4 to watch: Clemson, BYU, Troy, and Baylor. So looking at some of the SEC squads right now, we'll just go region by region. So no one in the LA regional, but you got UCLA, Jacksonville State, Oklahoma State. Jacksonville State is the 2 seed. Southern Mississippi State battling in the Hattiesburg regional. And man, if you've watched any Hattiesburg regionals or super regionals in the past couple of years, that place is a party. And Wright State's in there, Purdue's in there. If that is, obviously it's April 22nd, so none of these are final. But man, if that is a regional, that is going to be the one to have your TV on. Atlanta, we'll have Georgia Tech, Kentucky, St. Joseph's, and Farley Dickinson. Kansas, Oklahoma, NC State, and Indiana State in the Lawrence regional, And hey, Kansas, Oklahoma, former Big 12 rivals. Boston College, Ole Miss, UTSA, and Lamar in the Oxford regional. Texas, Miami, Xavier, and Binghamton in Austin. Remember, Texas was the, I believe, 2 seed, and they ended up losing at home to UTSA. And that was in last year's regionals. Hey, the Lincoln regional, you got Nebraska, Virginia, K-State, and Little Rock. Remember, Little Rock almost won the Baton Rouge regional last year, and that was the same team that LSU went and won the national championship pretty handily. North Carolina, Arizona State, High Point, and Bucknell in the Chapel Hill regional. Texas A&M, Missouri State, TCU, Tarleton State in the College Station regional. Auburn, West Virginia, UAB, Oral Roberts in the Auburn regional. That looks like a ton of fun. Georgia, Liberty, Cincinnati, Bethune-Cookman, and Athens. Alabama, UC Santa Barbara, East Carolina, and Campbell in Tuscaloosa. And that looks like an awful regional for Alabama. I mean, that is 3 mid-majors that very well could all come in and win that. Now, obviously, that's not a confirmed regional, but boy, would that be a fun one. And then in Conway, South Carolina, oh man, this one might be just as good. Coastal Carolina, Wake Forest, Tennessee, and Wofford. I mean, if you can put 3 good teams in a regional, it makes it so much more fun. And we've got 3 good teams in the last 3 of these regionals. In Corvallis, you got Oregon and Oregon State. That would be awesome. Throw Gonzaga and Nevada in there, and you got a great one. In Gainesville, Florida, USC, UCF, and Yale. Boy, heck of a travel for the boys from Southern Cal, as they have to go all the way to Gainesville. And this, another really good one. Tallahassee, you got Florida State, Arkansas, and Kent State all in that top 3 with North Florida rounding it out. Man, we still got a lot of baseball to play, still 4 full weekends to go, and things can change a lot. I mean, we had Southern Cal as one of the hosts, and now are fighting for 2nd seed. Down there were some teams like, if you look at some of the teams around them, you got Missouri State, Liberty, Wake Forest, Miami. So still a lot of room to grow for a lot of these teams. I don't know if we have any sneaky 4 seeds, maybe Yale, Campbell, Bethune-Cookman. We've seen them take down some talented teams this year. But I think we got some really compelling 3 seeds. Kent State, they're pesky. Tennessee, I mean, I hate to say it, but they've made it to, 5 straight super regionals, 6 straight super regionals. East Carolina, they're not going to go down easy. Neither is UAB or TCU. TCU was kind of in that Tennessee boat of really highly ranked to start the season and haven't fared as well. High Point, I feel like they're always pesky. At some point, you're going to have to stop giving Rock State a 4 seed because they're beating teams. I mean, they went to the number 1 team in the country in Vanderbilt last year in the regional and won it. Or I may have come in 2nd, but actually I believe they were runner-up to Louisville. But that tells you exactly. I mean, Wright State is the number 1 seed's worst nightmare, and boy, if they get thrown in the 16 seed as the number 4, I mean, they could go take down the number 1 team in the country the next weekend in the Super Regional. Who knows? But looks like that will be all we have time for today on this edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. We will be back on Friday. We'll look at some more weekends of college baseball. We will look again at the transfer portal because I'm sure things are going to get probably going to change between now and Friday, obviously, with the NBA draft. We may even look at, we'll have the NFL draft. That's tomorrow night, so we can break down some of the NFL draft top picks. We can look at maybe some NBA draft projections because obviously we'll have a couple more names in the portal as of that time. But for Michael Marks, this has been the Mark My Words College Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. Have a good day, and we'll see you on Friday.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.